What's up guys, Barry here, and in this video we're going to take a look at Native Instruments' first expansion pack of 2022, Satin Looks. Satin Looks is inspired by sounds from late 80s R&B ballads to soul-searching 90s cuts and new pop frontiers. It features 395 loops, 469 drum samples, and 142 one-shots, with 60 battery kits and 50 machine kits. It comes with a small amount of synth presets, 5 for Monarch and 10 for Prism. And for Maschine exclusives, you get 200 patterns, 1 bass synth preset, and 8 projects. Before we get to the beat I made using the sounds within Satin Looks, I want to share with you guys 3 pros and 3 cons that I personally found when going through the pack, in order to help you guys make your decision whether this is the pack for you. The expansion was made in collaboration with Snipe Young, the mind and ears behind some of my favorite packs and my favorite play series instrument, Cloud Supply. In the one-shot section, I found some major and minor variations of chords using the same sound, which I don't often see or find within these expansions. This is great for building your R&B chord progressions. Personally, I use a lot of drum loops to get my ideas started. A convenient addition to the drum loops is that they've included the key, so I'm not guessing or trying to figure it out, allowing me to just create. Speaking of drum loops, I found some loops that I feel like were misplaced. For example, with there being 395 loops, I downloaded the expansion thinking there'd be a ton of great loops for me to sample and flip. It was a little disappointing to dig through the combo and full loops to hear full drums all over them, which is a turnoff for me personally when sampling loops. With the demos and groups featuring tons of keys, I would have liked more single note one-shots to build from versus only chords and licks. Especially with the lack of synth presets, I think this was a big miss. Alright guys, so those were just a few pros and cons I found with Satin Looks. Before we get to my beat, I just want to let you guys know that in the description there's an affiliate link to the pack where I do get a little bit of a commission if you end up purchasing it, which helps me continue my journey as an independent musician and content creator. With that said, let's get to breaking down this beat where I used only sounds from Satin Looks. So I started this beat with the J-Did kit, using pretty much the third pattern with a few modifications. It sounds like this. The first sample again is from the J-Did kit. Originally, it sounds like this. So I ended up pitching it down 6 semitones and reversing it. After chopping and sequencing it, it now sounds like this. It was feeling pretty dark, so I decided to add the grain delay pitched up an octave at 75% in the mix. I also added a bandpass filter with 18% positive modulation and a maximizer to bring the volume up. So with the effects, it now sounds like this. It still felt like it was missing something, so I bounced it onto another track, pitched it up an octave, added 34% ice reverb and a phaser after the reverb at 21% to get a bit more modulation. The next loop I found is under the full folder and is called Arterberry. I didn't do too much to the loop other than use a high pass filter. Sequenced, it sounds like this. And the last loop adds some melody and can be found under the Synth Miscellaneous folder and is called Lemongrass. Again, not too much was done to the sample other than a low pass filter and changing the sample type from one shot to AHD mode so I can get a little bit of a fade out after each chop. So altogether, the sample group sounds like this. Alright, so those were the loops that I used. Here are the one-shots. I have the synth-based stab played quite high on the keyboard. For some ear candy, I have this guitar lick. And lastly, I have the synth pad sidechained to the hi-hat and with a grain delay an octave up. There's actually some great sounding bass one-shots in this pack. Just remember to change its polyphony to 1 or legato so it doesn't overlap itself when triggering it. Without the compressor and the saturator, it sounds like this. Bringing out some of the upper harmonics with the compressor and saturator, the bass one-shot now sounds like this. And to finish off the beat, I wanted to use some of the synth presets included in Satin Looks. The first Prism preset is called Ice Ring. The next preset is an electric piano preset called Check Me Out EP. As a preset, it's a little dry, so I added some hall reverb, a very small amount of delay, and to darken it up, there's a low pass filter and again some modulation for interest. Alright guys, so those were all of the elements that I used for my beat. As a quick reminder, I want to ask you guys to hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already, and to consider subscribing for more beat making content. With that said, let's get to the final beat.